Today is National Seatbelt Safety Day. Joining us now is David and Wendy Mills to share a very personal story with us. Good morning to both of you. We're here to talk about Kaylee's story.
Good morning, Owen. Thanks for having us on, and wanted to remind everybody today that it's National Seatbelt Safety Day, which is the perfect opportunity to remind people how important it is to always buckle up.
Yeah, we have
it's the best thing you can do to protect yourself when you're in a crash, and it can save your life. Our 16-year-old daughter, Kaylee, we lost our daughter 5 years ago, and she was just going a mile away in a residential neighborhood. She was on a 30-mile-an-hour road, and she was in the car with some other teenagers, and she had unbuckled her seatbelt just before the crash to slide over in the back seat to take a selfie. And just a few moments later, the driver lost control of the vehicle, and she was ejected, and she died instantly, just 2 blocks from our home. And the other 3 kids walked away with no injuries, and so we know that our daughter would probably still be here today if she had her seatbelt on. And so we're just wanting to remind everybody how important it is to keep that conversation going in your house today and every day, to always wear your seatbelt.
Yeah, I mean, you think about, especially with teenage drivers, I know it's as a parent's worst fear, right? Initially, with these children getting their driver's license, trying to handle such a big, heavy, moving vehicle. And sadly, as you guys have experienced, it really only takes that split second. One decision changes everybody's life.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ever let your guard down, even when you get in a familiar situation. And I'm sure everybody's heard that, most fatal crashes happen close to home, and it's because people get complacent and they, they get in a familiar setting and they let their guards down. And so it's important to stay buckled up for the entire trip and never let your guard down.
What's your advice to other parents of teenagers before their kids get on the road? I mean, obviously the overall thing is the seatbelt, but it's how do we reach them? How do we reach children so that they understand really what's at risk? You know what I mean?
Well, the number one thing is to keep the conversation going every day. I mean, your life is literally in your hands every time you get in a car, every time you get behind the wheel. And like you said, it's every parent's worst nightmare, and you don't want to have that regret that I wish I'd have talked more about this to my kids. But and like you said, there's other things. It's not just wearing your seatbelt. Seatbelts are going to protect you when you are in a crash, but you also got to do things that are going to keep you safe and keep you prevent you from getting in crashes. Things like not speeding, not texting and driving, not obeying the traffic laws, and not drinking and driving, things like that. We are partnered with the Texas Department of Transportation on an initiative called End the Streak. And since November of 2001, that's 22 years, we have not seen one day here in Texas where we haven't had a fatality on our Texas roads. And so this is a streak, a 22-year streak that we're trying to end, and we're working every day. We're not going to give up. We're going to keep working every day to end that streak. Let's just have one day where we can go one day without policemen having to knock on the door of a family and notify them that their loved one isn't coming home. And that's almost 80,000 Texans that have lost their lives. That's on average about 10 per day.
Those are incredible statistics, and Mr. Mills, as you're saying, really to end this streak, we need to do it from all angles. It begins obviously with people making good decisions behind the wheel, and not texting and driving, not driving distracted, not driving drunk. And then from the other side of it, as you said, the seatbelt is really the message we need to get out there to people. David and Wendy, thank you so much for sharing your story. Before we go, is there anything you'd like to say about Kaylee?
Well, I mean, obviously, we miss Kaylee so much. She was such a vibrant young lady and a really special individual. But we are continuing her legacy through the Kaylee Mills Foundation, where we help raise awareness through education, partnering with law enforcement, all these initiatives like End the Streak. We also provide assistance to families that have lost somebody and a loved one. We do scholarships, all kinds of things. So you can check us out at KayleeMillsFoundation.org.
Thank you guys again for being here today and for candidly sharing your story with us. We hope it's impactful, and we really hope people get the message. Let's end this streak someday, David and Wendy. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All the best.